So without any further delays, I would like to invite our special guest speakers, Dr. Nahab Abdelrahman and Mr. Feng, to present about perceptions of new generations bilingual teachers on principal competencies. So the floor is yours. Please welcome.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
I'm so happy to be with all of you today, and I just told our colleague Mr. Visna Khan. I just told him like it's about like 3 a.m. in the morning in Texas, but this is really an exciting opportunity for every one of us, and to talk to you and to see your research, and also to exchange what we're doing here in the United States with what you do in Cambodia. Thank you for the invitation, and I'm happy to start our presentation about our study. Our study today is like, let me share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Do you see the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
So, do you know how to do the slideshow?
Oh, they have a present button on the upper right corner, on the right, you're right next to share. See the yellow logo share?
Ah, this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So during COVID and before COVID, actually, our goal was thinking about principles. What are they do, and what are the new principles can do? So, and when I say like new principles, I mean the students in our master degree, because in Texas A&M University, we have principal preparation programs that prepare teachers to be principals. I mean, to make the career shift from being teachers who are teaching in their classrooms and who are helping students in a small place, like which is the classroom itself, and helping like a small number of population to serve more people, to serve the the whole school. And in order to do that, you need to have more skills to be a principal. It's not only like anyone can be, but you have to own a skill to lead others and to make a difference, and to think about what you want to provide to the students to grow. So our paper today is the perceptions of the new generation bilingual teachers on the principal competencies. That paper, we are looking at what the teacher leaders perceive about the leader. What is the role model? What they think? Who is the good principal in their eyes? And what are the good points or the strength, and what is the weaknesses, and what are the challenges? So this paper was, we contributed in a study that we are publishing, and the contributors is Dr. Beverly, Irby, Hamad Al-Fararji, Dr. Rafael, Lara-Alecio, Dr. Fuhui, Tong, Shuo, Feng, Fanyi, and myself. And we have Shuo today with us here, so he will be one of the presenters for tonight. So as I just introduced our research purpose, so we aim to explore and identify bilingual teachers' perceptions of the competencies and challenges of the principals as they perceive. And also we want to know what is the role model of principals in their eyes. So those are the two main questions actually we have about what is the role model and what are the challenges and the opportunities that the school leader can provide. And I believe it's not different from what you have in Cambodia, because when we think about the principal, the principal have power to be a person who can lead the school. So what are the challenges of that position? What is the opportunities of that position? And what is the good model of a good principal at school?
So for our study, we didn't actually base on one single theory to guide our study. We did a literature review to see some common themes in developing competencies of principal, and we collect those themes to get our studies. So basically, there are three major areas of improving high-needs school high-needs school principals. First, identifying competency of principals who are able to lead school improvement. Second, understanding the challenges that designated to the principals. And third one is discovering opportunities that can be successful, bring the needs and the requirements for those high-need schools. So the literature review that we did, we found out the first one is related to the competency. We discovered 6 leadership skills. The first one is creating a well-articulated school vision and sharing it with all school personnel and stakeholders. So it's basically to figure out a mission statement. So everybody was on the same page and everybody know what they're supposed to do for the school and for the goal of the school. And the second one is identifying and addressing students' academic needs. So especially for high-need schools, and students will have different needs than regular schools. So as teachers and other leaders, we need to figure out what their needs are so that we can better articulate our strategy to educate them. And third one is assisting teachers to enhance their instructional capacities and addressing their needs. So teachers are a very important link of our education. It's by the end of the day, they are the one who teach our children. So it's very important to understand what they need and make sure that they have the capacity to share the knowledge that they have. And the fourth one is creating and sustaining a motivating learning environment for teachers and students. Like we said, it's a learning process. Everybody's learning from the process. And as leaders, we need to create that mutual learning environment for both to grow. And fifth is fostering family and community engagement in student learning. So research have done that the more engaging families are, the better outcome academically the students will have. So it's very important to engage students and families and community in school, in student learning. And the last one is advancing cultural awareness and responsive among students and teachers, especially today as society getting more and more diverse. And we need to, help students understand the diversity and the cultural differences so they can better adapt to our environment. Along with the skills, there are also challenges. Like we already listed so many skills that requires for principals. So the first one is going to be managing time. Since they have so many things to do, it's hard for them to actually allocate time appropriately for them to accomplish every single goal. And second one is building partnership, like we mentioned about how we can help students, how we can help teachers and the families. It requires communication and instructional leadership skills to help that partner, which leads to our third challenge is the instructional leadership skills and the communication skills. And lastly, the responding appropriately to specific school conditions, because when new school principal come to a new school, they need to understand everything about that school, and that can be challenging. Next slide, please. All right. And then like we talk about for bilingual programs, that's different too. They have, based on the general skills that are required for normal principals, for being a principal at bilingual schools, the principal should know that being knowledgeable on bilingualism, bilingual education, and teaching ELs English learners. And as well, they need to advocating and maintaining bilingual programs under the pressure such as English-only policy, because we need to help those students adapt to English-only policy, especially when their first language is not English, and actively participating in instructional development for English learners, and promoting effective communication and collaboration with teachers and parents. This can be challenging as well, since bilingual students are from different countries and different cultures. So it's kind of hard. It's harder for a principal at a bilingual school to adapt to their cultures and values, to have them engage in our school. It addresses specific needs for teachers, such as providing professional development and resources, and assisting in promoting parent involvement. And the last one, emphasizing issues of social justice, linguistic and cultural diversity. So all those things are aligned with helping students, and especially in a diverse environment. So based on that, our research tend to answer the questions that what leadership competencies do bilingual and ESL teachers perceive as important in an ideal principal to lead high needs schools. And the second question we tend to answer is, what are the challenges and the opportunities inherent in serving as a principal with bilingual experience in a school highly populated with EL English learners?
So in order to understand what's going on in the schools, we wanted to do this study qualitatively, because in the qualitative studies, you can go through the experiences in depth, asking more questions open-ended in order to see what's going on in the schools. So that's why for this study, we adopted the qualitative research method, and we used a case study. Why we using case study? Because our participants are a cohort from Texas A&M University master degree, and this cohort was already under grant called PAL, which is Preparing Academic Leaders. I spoke about it like a few hours ago, and PAL is a master degree, and it's an online. And in this program, we're providing our students with scholarships to cover their tuition fees, and also we provide our students with virtual mentoring and coaching program to help them increase their skills as leaders, and we provide them with professional development hours. So those students are like a special case. So that's why we find that the case study would be appropriate, because we have a very specific population who serve very specific population as well, student population as well, which is like students in high needs schools. So the qualitative research help us investigate a complex phenomena, which is leadership. What we want to understand about the leadership: who is the role model, and what is the challenges, what is the opportunities, what is the strength, and what is the weakness, what are the weaknesses. So these all are questions about how and why. So that's why the qualitative research, especially like case study and experiment, would be very appropriate for our study. So as I mentioned in the previous slide about the sample, our sample is our students in the master program who are already teacher leaders in their schools, because they are in-service teachers. It's not like they are not only students on the program that we have at Texas A&M, but also they are teachers in high needs schools. So we find that in sampling, that convenient sampling would be the best description, or we can use for this sample. Why? Because for the convenience sampling, it is like a non-probability sampling, in which you recruit participants that you know that you can have an access to them, and they are available, and they are willing to participate in your study. And these criteria were met in our students because they are in our program. So we have an accessibility to them through emails and phone numbers and everything. And also they are available because they are they are attending the courses for the master degree with us, And willing to participate, yes, because they already, all of them signed a consent form to participate in the research, and they are willing to participate in that study. So the participants for that study are 72 bilingual teachers who were enrolled in the BELT MED program in two cohorts, actually. The first cohort was started in 2018, and they graduated in the summer of 2019, and they were 28 teachers. And the second cohort started in the fall 2019, and they graduated in the fall of 2020, and they were 44 students. So we have 72 bilingual teachers who participated in that study. And the description or the demographics description of this sample, based on gender, we have majority of female teachers. And I believe this is kind of like common across countries, that in schools, most of the teacher, especially in the elementary schools, are female. So that's why we have 64 female and 8 males. Based on the ethnic and race, we find that we have about 2 participants have an Asian background, 13 participants came from African American group, 35 participants came from Hispanic Latinx group, and 22 participants came from the Caucasian or the white group. The education level for all of our participants, they all have, of course, a bachelor in order to be in a master. So they all have a 4-year college degree, but only 63 of them have only 4-year college degree, and 9 of them have the 4-year college degree plus a postgraduate degree. So this is actually the demographics of our participants. Let's go to the next. So in order to collect our data, we sent an email to the participants to invite them to participate in the study. And we mentioned what is the purpose of the study. And we tell them also the description of the interview, like it will be 30 to 45 minutes. So they have to prepare that time for that interview if they are participating. And also the data were collected from the 2 cohorts while they are in their program. So the first cohort, we collected the data in July 2018. And from the cohort 2, we collected the data on May 2020. The interview protocol included 11 questions, and in those 11 questions, like exploring their perceptions about the role model of the principals, what the challenges and what the opportunities as well. When we collected the data from the 72 participants, we started analyzing these data. So we transcribed, coded, and analyzed the data. The researchers, which are like the full team, revised the codes in order to ensure the validity of the data. And based on that, themes emerged deductively based on the comparison of the codes. And for the confidentiality purposes, the researchers coded the names of the participants. We didn't want to disclose their names, of course. So that's why we numbered them, like participant 1, 2, 3 through participant 72. So when we did the coding and the analysis and everything, we find that we have 5 main themes came out to answer the first question. Those themes are developing and sharing a clear vision. So the first question we asked about what is the role model? I mean, what is the principal role model? How is the good principal look like? So the first characteristic that principal has is developing and sharing a clear vision. And the second, creating positive and welcoming school culture, building instructional capacity of teachers, enhancing family and community engagement in the school. And as Shuo mentioned before, this is one of the big challenging skill that the principal can have, because students came from different cultures and different backgrounds. and the principal need to know all of this culture in order to include all students in the. So it will be like a failure if we leave some students behind because we do not know anything about their culture or backgrounds. And the last one for from these themes was leading by example. I will go through one by one very quickly. So developing and sharing clear vision. This one, most of the participants spoke about like developing and sharing clear vision. Because as a teacher, when I am at school, I only like focus on the lesson plan and how to make sure that my students in the classroom understand the lesson and get the knowledge of the class. While the principal have a big picture of the school after 1 year, what we want to achieve. So when we say that, what after 1 year or 5 years, what we want to achieve, this is the vision, what I want my school to be. So that's why if I have a good vision and I articulate that vision with my teachers, and my teachers knows and agree with the principal about this vision, they all work in order to make this vision come true and in order to make all of the goals come true. So one of the teachers says the principal needs to communicate who she is and be able to create the vision with her staff. This is not just the principal's vision. This has to be the vision of the staff, and everyone needs to have the goal in mind. So that's what we meant by the principal. Not only he is the one who developed the vision, but he also want to make discussion about it with teachers. He has to articulate that vision with teachers, and also to make everyone knows the mission and also and the vision. Sorry, know the vision, and also they are work in order to achieve it. Creating positive and welcoming school culture. This is one of the big ones, because as in the United States, we have students from all over the world. We have students from east, west, north, and south, and everyone comes with their background, and even not only students but teachers as well. So the school should be a good environment in order to grow. No one would be happy to work in a school who doesn't want to go. If the school have a hostile environment, or that they or not welcoming or not friendly. So this is the role of the principal, to create this friendly and welcoming school culture. And here one of the teachers says, again, this, the trust in the teachers. If the teachers do not like you, they are not going to work hard for you. If they like you, they trust you, they believe in you, they will work hard for you. So I think that is about building the school culture, is in getting the trust of the staff. So this is one of the big thing for a good leader, to have the trust from his staff and teachers, and of course like students as well. Third one was building instructional capacity of teachers. And this is also important, because as teachers, we do what we do every year. And if I'm comfortable with my instruction, I will be okay. But over time, my way of teaching would be like old, and the students will not get the knowledge if I didn't improve my teaching and my instruction. So the principal has a role to play in here to help teachers to build their instructional capacity by providing them with professional development or some opportunities in the district or some places to help them to grow. So one of the teachers here said, like, I think the ideal principal would go and model what they would see, especially if new teachers or struggling teachers. I feel like the principal could be more hands-on and go in there and maybe give examples. So as a principal, I shouldn't be like a manager. I should be like them as a teacher, and then be modeling to give them some ideas about how they can change their instruction if they need to make some changes. The last one, like the fourth one, is enhancing family and community engagement in the school. And one of the teachers says, like, parents do not feel so comfortable. They may be afraid of coming up to school, to campus, because of various reasons. But if the leader and the leaders team make everything accessible and make everything feel safe, then those parents in the community or more are more inclined to be involved. As parents came from different culture, like if I am a parent and I speak Spanish, I do not speak English, and go to school, if I don't feel I'm welcomed and somebody come to translate what I'm saying to the school about my kid, I will not go. So that's why it's important to feel that I'm welcomed in the school, and the school do effort in order to include me. So this is based on the leadership of the school. The last one is leading by example. And what I like the quote that one of the teachers says, a leader should be visible, and not just visible as a big boss or the main guy, but someone is willing to come into the classroom and actually be in the trenches with the teachers, and someone that's willing to model. So modeling is they are speaking over and over about, they want the principal to be a model that they can follow, because they need that. For the second question, like I want to, the time is going fast. So for the second question, actually, when we asked what are the challenges for that position or the opportunities, and the challenges and the opportunities can be the same thing, but with different in articulation. So one of the teachers says, like, inconsistency implementation of the school policy and regulation. So meaning that, for example, if the school have a dressing code, sometimes they interpret this policy for some teachers in a way, and another teacher have interpretation of the same policy in another way. So the inconsistency of the implementation of the school policies could be a big challenge that the principals have. So in order to make it as an opportunity, I have to have a consistency in implementation of school policy. So as a leader, they have to be consistent while they're implementing the policy. Like it should be like the same interpretation for all teachers. Limited understanding of bilingual education. And this is what we speak about over and over. If I'm a principal, came from monolingual, like I speak only English, and I don't care about what the other my students who come from different backgrounds, I will fail. I will fail because there is like a disconnection between the principal leadership and the leadership and the students themselves. Lack of parent engagement. So if we make this as an opportunity, it should be like increase the parent engagement. Large bilingual classroom size, and this is a big one, and also the principals needs to make some different setting in order to decrease the number of students in each class. And then the last one we spoke about is about, it's like a concluding finding, which is bilingual components and issues such as developing bilingual programs and addressing bilingual students' education needs, improving teachers' competencies in bilingual setting, and promoting the involvement of students' family in the school community.
And to wrap it up, our result will contribute to literature reading regarding identifying specific competencies of leadership and challenges for principals in schools with bilingual high need students population, and also provide insights of designing and offering more targeted and specific professional development for both teachers and principals to address their needs of working and teaching in bilingual settings. And we'll have our references.
Yeah, and if you have questions, please, we can. Do we have minutes for questions, or we take all of the time?
Yes, it's okay. We have time for your question. So thank you so much, Doctor and Mr. Su Feng, for your great presentation. So now let me read some question for you. So the first question is from our participants. His name is Wisna. His question is, since there are different participants from different countries, what are the challenges do you encounter when you collect your data? So I would like to invite you to respond to this question. Thank you.
Sure. So the thing is, like, we are not speaking about students from different countries. Those students are here in the United States, but they came to the United States with their families. Some of them are first generation who came to here like few years ago with their families from other countries. But also some students were born in the United States, and their parents who came like way back like 20 years ago or something to the United States. But still, every student have their own culture and background. We do not take our culture and background out. So for example, I'm Egyptian and Shuo is Chinese. So I still have my culture with me. So I still do my everything, like my events and holidays, and speaking Arabic, even like with friends when I have a chance. Same thing for Shuo. So we have many students who came from different background, but they live in the United States, and they were born in the United States. So the challenge that we have, actually there is no challenge, because all of the participants are teachers and they are speaking English. But we just wanted to address the challenges that they might face with the little kids, with the students who came from backgrounds, like different backgrounds. So one of these things that we addressed over and over is the principal of the school doesn't know the students' backgrounds. So, and one of them says, like, most of the leaders are white and they are monolingual, meaning that speaking English only. So they do not have any like mindset think about the bilingual, and also they didn't make effort to understand the students' backgrounds. So that's why, like, the good leader is the person who make effort to understand his students, like to respect their holidays, for example, to speak about their culture in the school events, to make the school policy in different languages. Like if I am invited parents who speaks Spanish, I have to have a translator to speak Spanish as well. And teachers also know how to speak Spanish. Or if I'm inviting a Chinese parent, I have to find a teacher who speaks Chinese in order to help facilitate the communication with the parent. Otherwise, the parent will come to school and he will say nothing because no one understands what he's saying. So this is what we call as school culture, and embracing everyone in the school system.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor, for your very informative answer. Yes, so the next question is from Miss Sino from Cambodia, and his question is, how can we improve our leadership as a principal? So I would like to invite maybe Su Feng, you can start first.
I think Dr. Abdelrahman is more appropriate for this question.
Yeah. Okay, if you have. Yeah. Okay, so school leader is the person who have the big picture, who understand like the big picture of the school, because he's communicating with the district, he's communicating with the community, and with the teachers inside. So he has or she has the connection between outside the school and inside the school, and also is responsible to make the plan about what the school future. For example, I have in the school 200 or 300 students. and all of them, they are like on average in their test scores. So maybe my plan is I wanted to increase that test scores. I wanted my students to be smart and to get good learning experience. So this would be like my vision. I want to improve my students' learning. And when I'm thinking about that, I can make a meeting with the teachers and tell them, hey, our students doesn't have, they didn't earn like good scores. So what we should do in order to improve that. And this means that we are speaking about our vision. The vision is we need to have to make our students get a good learning experience and productive. So now I'm talking to the teachers in order to ask them their ideas about how can we improve their learning experience. So making like this is developing and sharing this school vision would be like the key criteria or the key characteristic of a good leader. And then communication is important. As a leader, if I do not share the ideas, or if I cannot communicate with teachers and the parents and the students in a good way, I will not be able to to create these channels of speaking. Also, the principal, as I said like before, he has to lead or she has to lead by example. I shouldn't tell like teachers to do something while I cannot do, or while like if I ask them to be at school at 8 o'clock in the morning and I come at 10. This is not a good model. You have to be a model for your teachers. So these all, I think this kind of be qualities of a good leader at school. If you want to lead a school, you have to be the example that they follow.
We very much appreciate for your interesting answer. Yeah, it's very wonderful. I do believe that the participant will be very happy with your answer. Yes. Okay, we would like to say good evening again from Cambodia. Actually, Mr. Feng Shuo and also Dr. Nahat, you still have one more presentation, right? So would you like to have your presentation now? So if you want, yeah, please feel free. You can start your presentation now.
Thank you so much.
For
Yes,
this, and
okay.
I'm sorry that you I didn't explain it. Like we have two different presentations. It's not like the two at one presentation. So I, in order for like to consider the time, I have the recording for it, and it's about like 14 minutes. So we can just present it like so instead of like having more time during that. And after that, we will be open for questions. What about that?
Yeah, I think that would be much easier, and we also can save some time. So you can present, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So
And then we
let
can
me
have
share.
some.
First, do you hear the sound is working?
I think you're pausing the presentation right now. Yeah.
I think if we cannot hear your,
No.
your sign in the presentation.
Okay, let me do it that.
As a second language teachers.
Okay, you hear now?
Yes, now we
Yes.
can hear, yes.
Okay, let me start from the beginning.
Hi everyone, my name is Abdelrahman. I'm presenting today our study investigating motivations of bilingual English as a second language teachers in high needs schools to be principals. I'm presenting our study on the behalf of my colleagues, Dr. Beverly, Irby, Alfarajji, Dr. Rafael, Lara-Alecio, Dr. Fuhui, Tong, Shuo, Feng, and Fanyi. So the purpose of our study was to investigate the perceptions of bilingual ESL teachers attending an educational leadership preparation program at Texas A&M University in relation to their decisions to aspire to become principals in high needs schools that serve large numbers of English learners. We designed our study and we adopted the self-determination theory, the SDT, that was developed by Deci and Ryan in 2000. And Desi and Ryan at that time, they defined that motivators are classified as being either intrinsic or extrinsic. The intrinsic motivations is connected to the activities with reward being the satisfactions associated with the personalized activity itself. While the extrinsic motivations is energized by physiological external drives and are not connected to any personalized activities itself. So based on the literature, we tried to find out what motivates teachers to be principals. And in the first place, we wanted to understand what the intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. So passed in 2006, I identified intrinsic motivations as service-oriented intrinsic motivations, which making like positive change in on others or on their students. And also he added another achievement-oriented intrinsic motivations, which means that the motivation comes from the achievement. So the reaching the goal is the motivation that the individual promotes to achieve. The extrinsic motivators that Ryan and Desi addressed or identified, they are like more about like external benefits, such as financial reward, fame, credibility, status, and power. Researchers have found that both intrinsic and extrinsic motivators influence teachers' decisions to seek leadership or administrative positions. Our applications of our applications of the framework for the intrinsic motivators, we found that they are factors that make teachers want to pursue school leadership positions informed by the leadership activities, or in other words, the duties of the positions itself, like power to make positive change in the lives of their students, or to foster parental engagement within the school. So the extrinsic motivations are the factors that are not associated directly with the leadership activities and duties of the position itself, like money, like prestige, and so on. So we developed our research question to identify these kind of intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. So our question was, what are the perceptions of the bilingual ESL teachers in the study related to their motivators to become principals in high needs schools? We employed for that study a qualitative case study to explore a complex phenomena or issues within their context. Our sample was a convenient sample because all of the participants for the study participated in PAL project. PAL is a Preparing Academic Leader Master Program that is funded by OELA, or the Office of English Language Acquisition. And this is about like $2.57 million to support 120 teacher leaders to be principals, by providing them with financial support to pursue their master degree, and also to provide them with virtual mentoring and coaching programs, and providing them with professional development sessions in order to be prepared for the principal certification. When we started this study, we have two cohorts already graduated from PAL, or were in PAL program at that time. We have cohort 1 and cohort 2. Cohort 1 have 28 participants and cohort 2 has 44 participants. So a total of 72 in-service teachers participated in that study. And this sample is convenient because they are available for us, and they are also willing to participate in the study. The demographics of our participants were like based on gender. We have 64 female and we have 8 participants male. And also based on the race, the majority of our participants were Hispanic Latinx. We have 35 of participants were Hispanic Latinx, and we have 22 white, and we have 13 black, and also we have 2 participants came from Asian backgrounds. The education level, most of our participants received a 4-year college degree, about 63%, 63 participants, and we have about 9 of them received a postgraduate degree. So the data were collected online through online interviews. We interviewed the 72 participants online, like using like a GoToMeeting for a 30 to 45 minutes. And for cohort 1, the data were collected in July 2018 through August 2018. And then for cohort 2, we collected data on May 2020. An invitation email had been sent out to our students, and the purpose of the email was to tell them the purpose of the study, and also to show their availability and share with them like the time slots of the interviews in order to check their availability for the interviews. The versions of the codes to ensure the validity of data were conducted. The interviews were transcribed, coded, and analyzed. Teams emerged deductively based on the comparison of the codes. The confidentiality of our participants were guaranteed. That's why we coded the names and we just gave them numbers at participant 1 through participant 72. So the results, firstly, we wanted to see what are the results that are aligned with what we found in the literature and what were new findings that were not recorded before in the literature. So these, from the intrinsic motivations that were recorded in the literature and confirmed by our participants, we find they spoke more about the impact students and teachers and had the opportunity to initiate change in learning environment, make difference, have an opportunity to serve others, have a desire to lead, experience the personal and professional challenge of the position, and promote professional development for teachers and staff. For the extrinsic, also they mentioned those extrinsic motivators like security, obtain money, or gain prestige, but actually none of our participants mentioned those extrinsic as their first option. They mentioned them as in the lower ranking of their priority, but the intrinsic motivations were the ones that came on the top, while the extrinsic came on the bottom, meaning that they do not think the extrinsic motivations that were listed in the literature become a significant factor for them to pursue principalship. So what the new intrinsic motivators that were not recorded in the literature and the participants mentioned was promote cultural awareness. And for this one, they felt like the schools doesn't have information, school leadership, I mean, they do not have much information about the culture and the cultural differences. So that's why they felt it's important for the leader to promote cultural awareness. One of the participants says, promoting cultural awareness is a driving factor for me. I would like our district to be a little more aware of our culture. We do not have kids that come from economically challenged homes, and I do not think they are aware of that. The second and new intrinsic motivator that is not listed in the literature was increased awareness of the importance of bilingual education. So most of the leaders in the schools are not coming from bilingual backgrounds, so the information and knowledge about the bilingual education is a little bit few and little. So that's why one of the participants mentioned that I have heard parents say, no, I don't want my child to be in a bilingual program because I can teach them Spanish at home. As a leader, you have to discuss with parents, there is a difference between the social and academic Spanish language. If I'm not familiar with bilingual program, as a leader, I will not know what's the difference. So the leaders need to have this knowledge. The third new intrinsic motivator was demonstrate commitment to campus-wide impact, and one of the pre-service principles says, as a teacher, I think my hands are handcuffed on how else I can help my students. And I feel in order to make a bigger change, I need to move up. So they feel like the power that the leaders have might give them the opportunity to serve more students. The fourth new intrinsic motivator that reported by our participants was foster a relationship with the school community. One of the participants says, English as a second language program, ESL children are not often receiving equitable opportunities. I'm a big proponent for ESL students and see that they can do and let them do as much as they can, and then go back and help them. Every child is an individual, and let them get the most out of the education. A principal can help ensure this in their work with teachers, staffs, and parents. So she felt like our bilingual and ESL skills are really promising, and that's true. So they just need the opportunity, and the leader is the one who can help having this by fostering communication with teachers and parents and staff. One extrinsic new motivator was added based on the responses from our participants. That is mentor-oriented motivation. Like many of the participants mentioned that they were advised. They were advised by their mentor or supervisors to pursue leadership positions because they have the skills. So one of the participants says, after taking advice from my former administrators and my current supervisor, they have always said, I need to be in a leadership role. And I never saw myself as a leader. And we can I'm sorry. So and we can. They said I'm born as a leader, and we need individuals like you in our school. So the significance of our study our study answers the research question in order to understand what motivates bilingual teachers serving in high needs schools to aspire leadership positions, to increase the number of bilingual teachers applying for principal preparation programs, and also to make benefit for the increasing population of EL students. So thank you so much for being with me today for this presentation. And if you have questions, please contact us in these emails. Like you can contact me, Dr. Beverly, Irby, and Hamada Al-Faraji. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Yes, thank you, Dr. and Mr. Feng. So it's such a great video presentation. Yeah, we really appreciate that. So would you like to add something more, or would you like to go through to the question?
We can go through the questions. Thank you so much.
Yes. So please wait a second. I think our participant is dropping the question here. So the question is from Missy Note, and his question is, how can we motivate ourselves to overcome obstacles?
That's a good question, actually. How to motivate ourselves? You have to understand what type of motivation you are following. So if you are a person who is intrinsic, who can get the motivation from inside, so you have to make a plan for what you want to do. So for example, you are a teacher, you want to improve your skills as a teacher. So this is your motivation. You want to be a good teacher. So at that point, you need to make a plan about to achieve that, like attending some professional development, or ask the experienced teachers, or attending some trainings. All of these things will help you to improve your skills and meet your goal. If you are an extrinsic motivation person, or the person who is oriented by others, you need to find your mentor. You need to find the person who can give you this advice, like telling you, you can do this, you can do that. So firstly, you need to identify your type of motivation in order to know how to overcome the obstacles.
I see. Thanks so much, Doctor, for such a great answer. And Mr. Feng, so would you like to add a bit more? I would like to say something related to that question, please.
Oh, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I just kind of briefly go, because I see another question said which one is more inspiring. So it's kind of related to the first questions as well. And Dr. Abdelrahman already mentioned about the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. But for me, I just want to add, like, everybody have different needs. Like, we all know the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Like, if you don't have money, and of course, the very first thing you worry about is extrinsic. You want to have more money, and you have more, like, feel more solid of yourself for providing for your family. And I think it's very important to actually cooperate the two, making sure that you are safe and secure at your campus, at the same time building the whole goal. Because for me, ultimately, it's going to be your dream going to drive you for long term. And that, I think that's what we heard from our students as well. So yeah, you make sure you have enough money, and then help them building that goal, because that's going to take you for a long ride. So thank you.
I see. Thank you so much, Mr. Feng. And Dr. Nahat, I think you already respond the first question, which related to the second. But if you have anything more to add, you can add, like between the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, which one is more effective for the bilingual teachers to become the principal? If you have something to add, you can add.
Yeah, it's just like you need to know what you want to do. Like, as a teacher, some teachers want to be teaching like till they retire. This is like, it's not like, it's not mandated that everyone should go to the administrative positions. So firstly, you should know yourself. If I want to continue as a teacher, or if I want to be in administrative position. When you identify your need, as Shuo just said, like, you need to know what you need. So, and then also you can like formulate your goal for the future, what you want to do for the future. It's not, I mean, it's like, it's not mandated to be, I wanted to do the best thing for the whole world. It can be like just like a very small goal, like I wanted to be a good teacher. Maybe I wanted to be a good school administrator to make my students learn better. This is like maybe like a very small objective or goal, but it's big for you. So that's why you wanted to like know yourself first, what you want to do and how can you do it. Because, for example, I wanted to be the president of the United States. Maybe, and this is one of my things, but I don't know how to do it. It's kind of like, this is not my area of expertise. I do not know. So this will be like a kind of not even a dream. It's just like, I'm just saying something will not be even realistic one day, or it will not be, it will not happen because I don't have a plan to make it true. So the thing is, like, you have to first, like, to know yourself, what you want to do, and then how to do it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Nahat, and also Mr. Feng. So it's such a very meaningful presentation. I do believe that it's very useful for everyone here, not only participant, even I. Yes, the moderator also I'm really interested in what you have shared. So really appreciate your sharing. And yes, so we would like to thank you all again, and also the participant for your valuable time, and wish you good luck, stay safe, and be happy. Okay, keep smiling as well. Okay, so we hope to see you. We hope to see you. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, so I would highly recommend all the participants to participate for the tomorrow conference as well. So thank once again, and see you. Chung Rip Lea.
See you tomorrow.
Bye bye.
Bye.